Welcome back, everyone. You're listening to All About Healing, and I'm your host, Emily Francis, if you're just tuning in, which I hope is not the case, because we just had a killer show with Tom Palidono, and he's got 25 years of research on scalar light technology. I love this whole thing. I keep hearing the word scalar waves. Have you heard of scalar energy, scalar waves? Never did I realize that it's the same thing as chi or ki or prana. And I talk about this a lot, that in other parts of the world, your life force energy, your God-given energy, the thing that is breathed into you, the moment that you come to life, every living being that has living cells is comprised of this life force energy. But what they've done, they figured out how to capture it and use it for your own healing and renamed it scalar, because the people that miss this opportunity to heal is because people get really turned off when they hear the word energy or when they think it compromises their faith in some way, which breaks my heart for all of the people that have spent time shutting off healing opportunities because they think it has a compromise with faith, which it does not. They are one and the same. They are hand in hand. So, okay, change the terms and boom, you got healing. You have people that are open to healing. You have people that have decided, yes, this is magical and miracles. Yes, this is God at work. But for some reason, we get really lost on the terms. Okay. I'm totally into this scalar light energy, and I didn't even realize it because I have lived the last over 20 years of study of my life studying this life force energy and trying to understand it and trying to teach it to my children. You know, I don't want my children to grow up deciding that only one way is the way to heal, because there is no one way. And that is something, I love the show. I'm so grateful for the show. It's called All About Healing because that's what I'm about. And it doesn't mean I'm perfect and perfectly healed and have all the answers. It means I'm really good at finding completely random people, hopefully from around the world, and I have had several from around the world, that work in healing, that the average person may not have been introduced to yet. But all the things that people are going through, it's not necessarily that that's a cure for everything, because there isn't a cure for everything. Actually, I believe there is, but I don't believe that we've found a lot of them. But I believe that the way something can manifest itself into your body can manifest itself into another position within your body. I believe that healing is possible. I believe that your healing is possible. I believe that my healing is possible. I believe that God will lead the way, and I will find the ways in which I can help my body to heal itself. Because again, you have to agree with every cell and fiber in your being that healing is what you're choosing. Because a lot of people go to all these different people for healing, and then when you're offered the opportunity to heal or to clear or to feel, I went to so many different people when I was suffering from anxiety. And when I was suffering from anxiety, I got prescribed crazy amounts of medicine and inhalers, and nobody actually gave me a diagnosis. They just heard me talk and they thought, oh, you must have asthma, which I don't. And it took a really long time for a doctor to go, hey, have you been tested? I looked at her and I go, why do you keep filling this prescription? I'm not an asthmatic. And she said, what do you mean you're not an asthmatic? But it says you've been prescribed this. But because some crazy physician's assistant that I saw that particular time at that particular insurance didn't listen to anything that I was saying and gave me this prescription. And I tried it once and it made me feel like I was going to lose my mind and have a heart attack. It was horrible. And that's what happens, especially when the emotions get involved in our health. So when our emotions get out of circuit and we start dealing with anxiety or depression, and in my case anxiety, and I'm a complete hypochondriac, so I would go to the doctor all the time and just beg for information or help, somebody to help me. And I went to psychologists and psychiatrists and psychotherapists and all these different places, doctors, and I tried to go to specialists if I could, because I couldn't figure out what was wrong. And it wasn't anything physical. It just wasn't. I was perfectly healthy, except that my mind would not allow me to accept that. So because I wasn't in a place to fully accept that, I kept experiencing strange body symptoms and then going to the doctor. And, you know, a lot of times these doctors don't do a lot of tests that say, you are cleared of this, you are not cleared of this. And a lot of times our regular medical system, unless you go to an integrative medicine or something, They don't test you for vitamin deficiencies or, I remember one time when I was suffering really bad from anxiety and I taught high school health and PE. And I was in the middle of my class and thought, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm going to faint. I feel so weak. I don't know what's come over me. And I ran to the vice principal's office and I said, I think I'm going to pass out. And I made up something like I'm having an allergic reaction or something bizarre. And I basically ran out of the building. And I sat in the car and I cried and I beat up on myself. This better have been, you better have something wrong. Or this, I can't believe you're such a loser, And then it just, compounds the situation. And then I called my doctor because back then I had a doctor who was in a single small building and would take you last minute. And he worked with a nutritionist. And I told him what happened that day. And the nutritionist looked at me and she said, I don't think you had a panic attack at all. I think you bottomed out. I think your blood sugar bottomed out. And she went over what I'd eaten that day. And I think I only had eaten a granola bar like the whole day. And I didn't know about, food and how to balance my body back then. And I thought she was crazy. I thought she was the one that was crazy, that there's no way that I could have felt this bad just because I didn't eat enough food. There's just no way. And I always believed that everything went under the umbrella of anxiety because that was the world I was living in. And years later, I learned that, yes, when your blood sugar is out of whack, and she did say, I think you're probably hypoglycemic, and she is correct all these years later. But when I started to hear about the side effects that happen when your blood sugar is not regulated, and it was all the same things that I felt, but I just assumed that I had a panic attack. And that's sort of the thing about healing, is it's all encompassing. So for anybody that is going through hell, if you're going through hell and you're listening to this, and I'm going on in a circle and may make you dizzy, there's another part that I hope that you hear. And that is that your mind, your emotions, your feelings, how you approach your health and how you view your own body and physical health will set the pace on your healing. It will. So there's a huge footing in your emotional layer of your body for healing or for staying stuck. And that has to be approached. So when you're going through, that's why with a lot of these autoimmune diseases, the prescription is mental health help. That because a lot of people they can't trace back and figure out the physical or the physiology behind it, and they know that there's such a mental piece to it. Now, do I believe that the emotional and mental piece is the only thing with these autoimmune illnesses? No. I think there is something physiological that has gotten way out of balance, and you do have to find those treatments. However, if you don't treat the emotional layer of that, then the other stuff's not going to work. It's just not going to work. So for me, all those years ago, that I felt like my body was constantly unhealthy and falling apart. That's the world that I lived in. And it wasn't until I got on a child's dose of an anti-anxiety med. And I'm not on it anymore, but I needed it. I needed it to rearrange the chemicals in my brain and to start to change the affirmative statements that I make inside and remind my body what it feels like to function at a healthy and optimal level, which it had so long forgotten. And all of a sudden, the way that I looked at the world and the way that I looked inside and talked to myself changed. And then my health changed. My health lined up and my physical body lined up behind the thoughts. And I know that we give so much conversation about your attitude of gratitude and that your attitude sets the pace for everything, but I can't tell you how true that really is because it's something that you have to put into practice. That's very difficult to do. But you have to be open and willing to accept healing when healing comes. So here we are with Tom Palidono today talking about scalar light technology. And it is groundbreaking, and it's not new. It's not brand new at all. And he's had unbelievable results. He's had results treating the herpes virus, treating HIV, over 2,000 patients in India that he works with a clinic in Delhi, and they have no virus detected. And the MRSA virus, and it's not just viral, it's bacterial and fungal, all these different things and infections within the body, and the scalar light technology helps it to rearrange. So if you go to his website, scalarlight.com, SCALAR light.com, you can have a 15-day free session from him over the internet. But I have to caveat with, you must be willing to let yourself heal. That's the deal for today. I hope you make it a great week. Shoot me an email, Emily A. Francis. Books, email, website, they're all Emily A. Francis. Make it a great week. We'll see you back here next Wednesday.